Hello guys, welcome all. I'm your host, none other than Deko Mohammed. Today I want to focus on business data question 22 that was tested in the August 18th, question 22 that was tested in the August 18th. I'm going to do part A, which says Riziki Limited is considering a project with the following details. We have the initial capital 40 million. We have the residual value 2.5 million. Selling price per unit is 1,100. Variable cost per unit is 500. Fixed cost per year is 5 million. Then you're told additional information. Annual number of units sold are 30,000. The company uses weighted average cost of capital at 12%. So don't just worry about these figures. I just write them there for us for ease of copying the formula. Part A is to compute the base net present value. Now, for us to compute the net present value, this project has 5 years. We are not being given the cash flows, so we need to get the cash flows. But remember, you need to start from the sales. From the sales, you less the variable cost, you get the contribution. From the contribution, you less the fixed cost. Then you get profit before depreciation and tax. You less depreciation, you get profit before tax. You less tax, profit after tax. You add back depreciation, and then you get the cash flows. But for this question, we don't have tax, we don't have depreciation. So it is just straightforward. We don't have tax, we don't have depreciation. So what they're going to do, let's start with the sales. Remember, we have this project is 5 years, so they can have year 0, then they can have year 1, then year 2, they can have year 3, tab year 4, tab year 5. And we'll do away with these ones. Now, year 0, we don't have anything for year 0. So for our sales, what we're going to do, we are going to take the selling price per unit, this selling price per unit, this selling price per unit of 1,100, you're going to multiply with this 30,000, which is the number of units sold. So you're going to multiply these two for us to get the sales. We take the selling price per unit times the units sold. So we say it's equal to, you come here and take this 1,100, then from this multiply with this 30,000, which was the units sold. Then we get our sales. Now let me have them in, I want to have them in comma, so I can put comma. And then if you want to have I want to format this cell so that my negative sign can come as a bracket, not just negative. So I'm going to remove that negative and then put bracket so that my values will now appear in, the negative value will appear in bracket, not just minus. Okay, now we have the sales for year 1. Remember, there is no any change as regarding to part A. So our sales will remain constant. The sales from year 1 to 5 will remain constant. We don't have any additional information that can change the sales. Now, from these sales, we less the variable cost. We less the variable cost. Now, we go to the question. We have the variable cost per unit is 500. We are going to use still the same, the units sold, which is 30,000. So for this, we are going to take this 500, multiply it with 30,000. But remember, this one is now minus, so we need to put a negative sign so that we need to subtract that. You see this coming now in bracket, that's why I formatted the cells. Now, still there's no change. This figure will remain the same throughout the 5 years. it will remain same throughout the 5 years. Now, from variable cost, if we have sales less variable cost, we get what we call contribution. We get contribution. Now let's get the difference. We can have the auto sum there, and then I copy throughout the other figures. I copy again because just the same value. That is now the contribution. From the contribution now, we less now fixed cost. Now we less fixed cost. You have the fixed cost, which was 5 million. So still enough minus, so it comes to negative. This one will still remain the same throughout the 5 year. This fixed cost will remain the same throughout the 5 year. Now you can have that fixed cost be constant throughout the 5 years. Now from this fixed cost, now we get, this could have been profit before depreciation and tax, but we don't have depreciation, we don't have tax. Now we just go to directly cash flows. This will now come to cash flows. It form our basis of cash flows. Because we don't have the depreciation, we don't have tax. Let me get the auto sum of the two. It will be 13 million. Then this one will now be copy throughout the 5 years. Yes. Now from these cash flows, remember there was a residual value. This residual value of 2.5 million, we're going to add it at the end of the year. So we had residual value, residual value. So we had residual value. This residual value, we are going to add it at the end, which was 2.5 million. Now you can see here, it's equal to, then, sorry, it was 2,500,000, which we are going to be added back. We are going to add it back. Let's have the auto sum. Sorry, need to pick the 2, comes to 15,500. But now for this other one, it will just remain the same. For this other one, will just remain the same. Just remain the same because we're only adding the or the mistake here. I have taken 2. That's why these figures I have taken the number of years to be summation. So you can correct that so that we have the correct figures. 18 million throughout. Yes. Now we had this now is net cash flows. Net cash flows. And then we are going to get the net book value, NBV. Before that, we had the initial, because if you look at equation, we had this initial capital cost. We had the initial capital cost, which was coming to initial capital cost. This is 40 million, and it is minus, it will be minus 40 million. Now you can have our NBV. Our NBV I say is equal to NBV. Take the formula. Now we start with the rate. Our rate is 12%. Put a comma. And these are our values. Values, we take these values from start to the end. Then we close the bracket. Now, remember now, we have taken the rate, then the values. This initial capital cost, we need to subtract, but it's already a minus. So we need to add so that it can turn back to negative. It's already a minus. If you write here minus, minus will become a plus. Now we need to write plus so that plus minus will become a negative. Because we need to subtract from the amount. So we add that, then we enter. This is our NBV, 8,280,657. So I'm going to do again but P and but C. Turn in for more updates for business data. Thank you.